So hello guys, today I have come to meet Mr. Arjun from Arc Racing, and he's joined me at my place holding cup. And today the agenda is we'll be talking on the latest car trends. Since he has his racing pedigree going on, he'll be guiding me with car dynamics and which car will be best suited for my kind of needs. A little aggressive yet a little subtle driving, and also most important, it should fit within my budget. So since since he's been into go-karting, let's just get started with that. So we've been seated over a cup of coffee, and that's how we get started with our thing. And so you all will be joining us on our intense discussion now in 2 minutes. But let's talk about coffee first.
Absolutely.
Since we are at holding cup, tell me your favorite kind of coffee first.
So I've been here to this place in the past 2-3 years now, since its opening times. I've been enjoying it with my friends since a long time, and my favorite go-to coffee is always an Americano or the cold brew, which is available exclusively at Holding Cups.
Holding cup.
Cup.
So guys, I've known Arjun for a very long time now, and he's the CEO and founder of Arc Racing, which is a division of go-karting expertise in Pune. And I really envy this guy's struggle and his journey, because he's training young minds to think beyond the box, and the Indian box, which is be an engineer and typical 9 to 5 job. So this guy encourages them to think that there are other opportunities. And in India, the sports that come into mind is cricket, but then there are other sports. On the world stage we have F1, and India lags behind like anything. India is recently started watching F1 and being a fan, but this guy is helping these minds to take action towards these steps.
Hey guys, and especially Nachiket, thank you for inviting me in this vlog. I'll be happy to help you in whatever you need. And as you mentioned that the racing pedigree is what is needed in the car nowadays. Definitely we find those, and you just need you don't need a high-end budget for that. Nowadays a good affordable budget is worth for that. Starting with the best, which I myself own, is a Chevrolet Cruze, the American Missile, which I would say. You can get one in the market at around 4 to 5 lakhs, and that is a good point at an entry level when you see it, at the 2-liter V4 engines with diesel turbojets. That is like what is expected in that car, which gets you a top of 180 to 190. Let me just clear, I've been in that car on 196 kmph, and my god, my mind was blown.
When you talk about the Cruze, I kind of like that car because it was the bombshell vehicle competing the Civic back then. But then since it is completely shut down in the market now, and I don't know about the spares, I think I'm a little dicey on the American products. Most of them have gone. I love the Ford products. They are also going down slowly. So we'll just keep away designs that are now excluded from the Indian market.
Right.
So that I can also be good with the spares and everything else. So what other suggestions do you have in mind?
So the other point, if I could see, or if I may say, the Germans are doing a great job in arranging the spares from the past 12 years. Even if you have a 2015 or 2016, which are easily available in the market, those have the racing pedigree from the German lines. Comparing will be a A4 or BMW 3 Series, or the Mercedes C-Class is easily available and converted into a race spec motorsports altogether.
So since he's mentioned the Germans, I think I love the Germans. But then, as always, maintenance is on the heavy side. But then they are built like tanks. So I think that can be a good thing to consider as well. Germans have the Autobahn, and I think they've perfected the top speed aspect of every vehicle that they produce. And then they have the Nürburgring going on. So Nürburgring helps them to create dynamics. I think BMW is best known for that aspect itself, driving pleasure, sheer driving pleasure. I think that's the tagline, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so Germans is definitely worth considering, and plus they are depreciated in India. In India, what does not depreciate is Maruti and I think Tata and Toyota. Toyota does not depreciate. So what we want is depreciated assets. We want cars that are built like tanks, but then yet depreciated to a level which we can afford them in our own budget. So yeah, the Germans are good. Then we can talk about Toyota as well. Toyota don't depreciate a lot, but then those cars are tanks as well. What do you suggest in Toyota lineup?
So the Toyota vehicles, I consider it as the luxury brand because it's like a typical Japanese businessman vehicle. But one thing I can guarantee is that they'll never get any harm to you in what budget costs, and you'll get the perfect performance vehicle in that budget. Supposedly, if you say in the Japanese market, if we have open to that topic, there are many varieties in Honda and Suzuki's who are doing a great job.
I think the Honda Civic is one that can
Absolutely.
can do the job. But what about the Toyota? Which Toyota? I don't think there's anything other than the Altis or
So the new Yaris has a good performance, and the TRD version of that is the proper sports division of Toyota.
But then, do you think they do anything different in the TRD other than the badging?
They have some performance factor of better tuned vehicle, as well as the filters are all K&N and sports infused. So that
Okay.
gives you a minor performance boost, but overall it can be like at the substantial amount.
I think the Honda Civic is worth discussing about. What do you think?
So I've been in the Hondas, and my God, should I say, IV Tech engine was the best establishment which Honda came up with. And Civics and the Cities were the first ones with the paddle shift gearbox, which changed the complete game of the automobile world. Civic not only is just comfort based, some people might complain about the ground clearance to be a little low, but what's the point when it's a performance edged car? So that's the point which we have to direct.
Yeah, I'm
towards.
inclined towards Civic.
Right.
We have many Civics which are ranging from 1 lakh to 5 lakhs,
Right.
depending on their condition. Which year do you think looks the best? I think the older ones, 2008 onwards.
The ones with the cat eyes were the ones which were the elites,
Yeah.
and those are the easily tunable versions. So even if you get one worth rupees 1.5 to 2 lakhs, I think they are very easy to tune accordingly. And they
Yeah,
can go
the
out
cost
in a
we
month.
save in the purchase of the vehicle can be made up in the tuning
Absolutely,
department. So I think I am talking about the wrong vehicles here, but I also have a thing for four-wheel drive vehicles. I like the Pajero SFX. Definitely it's not your forte, but what are your views on the Pajero? Yeah.
So the Pajero, I consider it as like the proper desert storm vehicle. That is just built, not built for just the roads. It can go anywhere you want. Put a snorkel and it's all on the water. So that's like the best built made by Mitsubishi Motors. And that's what we miss actually on the roads nowadays. You won't find more Pajeros, but that is like one niche market.
So Toyota's racing division, I think it's a scam. I think it's just rebadging in India to a level where it's just a badge.
Right.
But you were saying something.
So what happened was when the automobile market had a big hit due to recession, that time everyone launched their racing divisions. Honda had the Mugen, Nissan had the Nismo, and Toyota was nowhere to be seen.
Honda had what?
The Mugen division. Honda
Yeah,
Mugen.
I've never heard of it.
So Honda Mugen is all the performance parts which they make. Where in Nissan, the Nismo or the Skyline, these are the racing divisions where they have the specially accurated parts. Or if you say compare the Ford racing division. Similarly, Toyota had one which was a TRD. They wanted a boost in that market. Even if you have a small badge, you'll definitely go for it.
So I completely agree with you, Arjun, on that point. But I think the TRD division does well in the American markets where they have actual off-roading events, and that TRD suspension, TRD alloy wheels, I think they are specially made for that purpose itself. Here, I kindly would like to disagree with you on that.
Right.
But then I do get most of your points. You were talking about the AMG as well. Yeah.
So what happens is usually if you have a Mercedes and a Mercedes AMG parked right beside each other, you will just go for the AMG just seeing the badge. That badge gives you a different impact. Similarly, people try doing that with Toyota as well, and you will be surprised that same year they won the Le Mans Championship, the 24-hour, with a Toyota engine. That's when the market boomed with the TRD division.
So I think badge does have a certain pedigree
Big
and
impact.
power. I think that's enough discussions with the brands itself. Which cars do you finally think are worth shortlisting? I think Civic is one of them.
Right.
In the Germans, C-Class is one of them. A very old E-Class would do. I think it's the W124, right?
Right.
Then W124, W140 was the Mafia king of.
Absolutely.
Then we have BMW 3 Series, which I think the range starts from within our budget itself.
Yes.
What do you think of the 3 Series? Yeah.
So giving a big reality check. Have you ever played NFS Most Wanted? The 3 Series was the car everyone wanted. That's how I envisioned the 3 Series. Like the suspension, the race pedigree, it's like a complete boost vehicle. So if you give me all the choices, 3 Series is the one I'm going for. Even if it's a budget a little high, that's the bend towards the tribute for the Most Wanted.
I think it can be best tuned to your needs as well. It can be modified to a good taste as well.
Right.
And it fits our age bracket as well, because it does not look old enough. I think because BMW did not change their design language a lot, I think their cars have aged the best, I think, because your 2020 models look the same as your 2010 models, let alone the difference between the LEDs. I think everything else, the design line, the lines of the entire chassis, they look similar. What do you think?
Market for keeping the design similar. They came with a statement that every car should be as good as the customers. The customers never had complaints, so never their designs changed. It was only the LED which came around that time. Hence, the only segment which has changed is the electronics. Rest everything is as good as if you compare the two chassis from 10 years apart, it will be exact same. That's the build quality which they can give.
3 Series definitely worth considering. The Mercedes 124, 140 and newer C-Classes from 2008 onwards. I think those are worth considering. So I think I'm going to be out of Audis for now, because firstly they don't fit within the price bracket, and those that fit, they have a high Triptonic gearbox issues.
Yes.
So that's done with the Germans. What else is remaining? Indian brands. What do you suggest in Indian brands?
Coming to the Indian cars, first of all, I'll never ever go for a Maruti if I'm seeing in the performance sector. Marutis are especially just for the city use, because if you compare your Euro NCAP rates, they are knock-off, like 0, 1. That's not sufficient. Some people even consider the Baleno and the Swift as a race spec vehicles, but if you actually drive them, you'll get so many vibrations and it's just too unsafe. Comparing the Maruti Ciaz, then Ciaz has a good power to weight ratio. Even Swift, when they had the Ford engines in the initial stages, Swift was compared to entry-level sports cars in the Indian market. So the Swift, the ones which were available 10 years back, those are the cars which you should go for with the old Ford engines. So that's what I'll consider, keeping that apart.
I agree with you on this one, Arjun, completely. Maruti vehicles, when it comes to racing, they'll be the most unsafe vehicles on the road. When it comes to fuel efficiency, I think nobody can beat them, but that's not our point right now. So let's keep Maruti out. What about the others? What about VW? What do you think about the Polo, which is like the tuner king vehicle? I think Kerala would own that vehicle. Like if there was a national vehicle, then Kerala would name VW Polo as their national vehicle. What do you think about the Polo? Come on.
I 100% agree with you on this term that Kerala should be named as the Polo capital of India, because majority racing and everything, Volkswagen has separately kept a Polo Cup, a Polo racing division just for racing. That's like a mind-blowing vehicle, and that's the reason Polo has a good market in tuners. You can tune a Polo into an off-roader, into a drifter, or into a track vehicle. Polo is the king of the tuners. So if you're considering to buy a second-hand racing division car, Polo is the place to go to, but it's very scary right now as the Polo is out of the market.
So shortlisting the Civic 1.8 with paddle shifters, we have the Polo, I think the DSG gearbox, then we have Mercs BMW 3 Series, and secretly I'm going to keep the Pajero SFX also on my list, shopping list.
You should.
So let's see how that goes. It's been great chatting with you, Arjun.
Happy to assist you fill your cards. Now it's all up to you for the checkouts.
So I think we'll be signing off for now, but it's been great meeting you, Arjun, and lovely guidance from your side. I hope I get my car at your track very soon.
Absolutely, you're
And-
always welcome, my friend. Yeah,
And,
cheers, guys.
Next track race will be on you.
Definitely.